Hey everybody, Owen here. I'm just here to show you a little captured footage that I got from my new device called the Roxio Game Capture HD Pro. I just picked it up a couple of days ago, and it allows people to record footage from their Xbox or their PlayStation 3, although it only will allow you to capture HDMI through your Xbox 360 and not your PlayStation 3. You can only do component through your PlayStation 3. It's kind of a bummer, but I'm looking into acquiring some component cables. It's really not that expensive, but it's just an extra little hurdle to go through. So today we're just going to look at the Xbox footage that I captured. So I picked up the unit. It comes with the capture unit itself, some software, but you have to have an extra HDMI cable to plug in to the unit to the TV, and then your existing HDMI cable will go to the unit to the Xbox. So it costs approximately 150 bucks on retail. Roxio had a deal where it was 130 on their website, and I was able to enter a couple of coupon codes, get it down to 90 bucks. So I had to jump on that deal. I was initially going to buy this Elgato Game Capture HD for around 200, but that's a lot of scratch. So when I saw this kind of deal, I had to, excuse me, that was my breakfast this morning. I had to jump on the deal just because it was too much. Couldn't resist it. So the game we're going to look at right now is a game called Hell Yeah, Wrath of the Dead Rabbit. It's a game that I initially found out about when I went to the Penny Arcade Expo in Boston. Little game convention out there. There was about 60, 70,000 people there. It's pretty crazy. This was one of the indie games, or just like smaller scale games tucked away in the Sega booth. They're the publisher on this game. What initially attracted me to it was just you'd see footage of it, and it just looked like the craziest thing you had ever seen, like a Saturday morning cartoon, just like on crack and set in hell. Which, if you were watching Saturday morning cartoons on crack, I imagine shit would be scary. But this just came out on Tuesday on PSN, and then Wednesday on Xbox, and that same day on Steam. It's 15 bucks, so it's pretty reasonably priced. I mean, a lot of these, digital games, are not going to break the bank in terms of, price. So I think it's a good deal personally. It's been a while since I played this. The time that I played it previously was in April, back at PAX. I'm gonna call it that from now on. I'm not gonna say Penny Arcade Expo, it's just too long. But when I was talking with the programmer of the game, he said, "Well, the lead designer, he's very French and he's kind of insane." And so I looked at the game and said, "Oh yeah, I can totally see that, because this is totally damn insane." It's very it's platformery. Super Mario, stuff like that, but instead of, you're being an Italian plumber, you're a, skeleton rabbit from hell who has a rubber ducky. Yeah, apples and oranges. Whatever. But this is just a little small introduction. The story isn't really a big part in this game. They don't really concentrate too much on it, which, the style, you don't need to. See, he has a rubber ducky. Paparazzi come in. Call him. There you go. Call him a pussy. And, that's about it. I apologize, by the way, if I say a lot. This is my first time doing narration, so a lot of those comments, I'm sure, on this video will be like, stop saying Damn it, I'll work on it. But anyway, that's the setup for the game. It starts off... There I go again. Oh, the man, this is bad. Now, I think one of the coolest parts about loading screen, which I'm not sure you would ever hear again, is elevator music. If you can hear that in the background, elevator music sounds... it's always good to be entertained when you're doing a loading screen, because it's the most boring part of any game, just trying to get to the next set piece. And I appreciate that they have, some funny writing and a little bit of elevator music. They're having fun with it. which you don't see very often in games. People having fun with their loading screens. But here it is. This is what it looks like. Again, very stylized, Saturday morning cartoon kind of thing. Sorry, I just lifted up my keyboard. But damn it. Sorry. I'm criticizing myself in the middle of commentary. That's just like not professional at all. So this is just, again, little narrating. You get a lot of tutorial stuff in the beginning, just because they don't want to like drop you straight in and you become very frustrated and all that. Some people think it's frustrating to have tutorial information in, but you have to hook in people who aren't too familiar with the genre and everything else. But okay, as of right now, you can't do any damage to anybody. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie and say I did that intentionally. I just really sucked trying this the first time. But you can't damage any enemies. So all I'm doing right now is just picking up coins. It's used as the currency in the game. You buy upgrades from a shop a little later on. I don't get to it in the video. But here's your butler, which may have one of the coolest character designs I've ever seen. Because if you had a butler and you were in hell, what would he be? Well, he'd be an octopus with a top hat with a monocle over his brain. Yeah, that sounds about right. So again, this is just more tutorial stuff. He basically explains everything for you. Right here, he's just explaining that in order to zoom out to get a better view of your surroundings, you press the left bumper. And this is just in case you get turned around. There are a couple of fast travel passages. It's just to get a sense of your direction, so you know where you're going. And that'll continue on, again, tutorial information for a little while longer. You see a door over there and some unpassable pink crystal. You need your first upgrade to get through it. And the door means you need to beat one of the 100 boss enemies in the game. I'll get to that a little bit later, but I want to focus on this right now. The butts. The butts are your jump pads. And when you jump on them, they fart. Because they're butts. And that's hilarious. So that guy right there, he's your first quote-unquote boss character. The only reason you call him a boss character is that he's a little different from your regular enemies in that he doesn't get killed instantaneously with your first upgrade that you get, which will come up in a couple of seconds, honestly. But he's mocking you, calling you naked, so you got to show him up. So still right now collecting coins, just avoiding enemies because we can't really damage them. You can't even jump on enemies that you think you can jump on because they'll damage you. Because I guess, you're naked, so if you jump on anything when you're naked, probably won't do any damage to it, probably just hurt yourself. But here's your butler again. He's giving you your upgrade. Talking about jetpacks, because they're awesome. But the thing is that you think of a jetpack, 2 rockets on your back, flying in the air. Awesome, right? Well, this kind of ups the ante slightly by giving you a jetpack that's a saw. Which is infinitely better, in my opinion. But see those crystals that we had previously could not get through? You press the right trigger, you can in a direction, and you can get through them easily. And now all the enemies that would have damaged us previously, now you can rip right through them, no problem. And you get little satisfying green and red splatters everywhere, just to say, "Good job, man! You killed that guy." You don't get any kind of coins or any score bonuses or anything like that from killing enemies. It's just more of you clear the path, and it's kind of satisfying in my mind. But that's the currency right there, is the coins you collect. You also get gems that you find in those rocks. Those are acting as currency. They're usually of higher value. Now here is the encounter with the boss character, again, quote-unquote. What you do is you just hold your attack in his direction for a little while, and then you get this minigame prompt, which are all very funny. That one, you smash the A button until you pop him, like a zit, and he explodes everywhere. Now that gate, which was initially we couldn't pass, opens up when you defeated that enemy. There are other gates, around the game that will be opened up when you defeated, 3 enemies, 5 enemies, stuff like that. And they're not spaced out in such a way that you can classify as, you know, you could bet like, oh, every 5 minutes I face one of those boss characters. It's more of that they're just everywhere. In this stage, there are a couple that are just right next to each other, or within a couple of seconds of each other, and the couple that are a couple minutes away. So it's always keeps you on your toes in terms of the boss characters. It never becomes boring in the fact that, like, okay, well, it's going to be 10 minutes before I get another boss character. Here's another one right here. I'm just going to let this one speak for itself, because I love it. Enjoy. Crazy French he was. That was a bit of Yoda speak, my bad. But yeah, that's probably my main appeal of this game when I first saw it, was this crazy animations when you kill somebody. So here's another one. It was just, I mean, it was just right over the next part of the screen. And this one, yeah, anybody who's played the game Explosion Man will appreciate stakes being thrown every which way. Always satisfying. There's a door. It had 3 on it. I hadn't seen that, actually, but the amount of enemies you had to defeat was 3. So, again, opens up. Get to advance to the next part of the game. There isn't really any backtracking as far as I've noticed. There are some passages coming up that show that there's a particular type of rock that you need your upgraded saw for. You can't pass. So there isn't a lot of it. I mean, I'm not going to say there's none, but they seem to keep it to a minimum. So, again, this is just more tutorial stuff from your butler, who I never get tired of seeing his face, or brain, whatever. And this just gives you radar, shows you your enemies, shows you important places to look at. Now, again, I was talking about places you couldn't get to, but there are also enemies that you can't quite kill until you get certain upgrades. There's one coming up in a second that requires you to pick up a rocket launcher a little later on in the game. I don't get to it because I want to keep this kind of short and just simple test. But that flying brain that's electrified, you can't touch him. Obviously, he'll just damage you with his electricity. So you have to pick up the rocket launcher and then come back to defeat him in order to open up that five enemy door. And there's me being an idiot. Oh, you can't touch an electrified brain. Of course you can't. Yeah, I've been playing games a long time. I think I would actually know these things, but nope, still an idiot. So, that Mrs. Fontaine, the nurse who recharges your health, that shower actually recharges your health. Your meter for your health is on the left side. It's filling up right now. And when it fills up, nurses with big boobs come out. Because that's what happens when you get better. Nurses big boobs. It's realistic, it's very realistic. So, I mean, you have these little pads that can shoot you from one place to another. Just kind of expedite the process of getting from place to place. There's an enemy down there that's hilarious. I can't beat him yet. I need the rocket launcher also to beat him, which you acquire very soon from this. I mean, it's probably 5 minutes from here. You acquire it, you come back, you defeat those 2 guys, and you advance. But that's about does it for the test on this today. Leave some comments. Say how much you should not say in this commentary, but also tell me what the video quality is, the overall sound quality, besides my uhs. And if you want me to continue doing this, well, actually I'm going to do it anyway, regardless of what you say, but I wanted to do more quick looks on games that just nobody really notices, or just under the radar, or some that aren't, that I just really want to record footage of. I was also thinking of doing something called an endurance run, if you know Giant Bomb, and they would just play games, like huge games in small chunks, and do commentary. I really want to do that. Tell me what you think. Leave some comments. Until I see you next time. Bye, guys.